Welcome to partialarc.com. Don't do that.
In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. And a lot of weird shit. Roll to seize!
Welcome to Roll to Seize. This is episode 18. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and I'm joined by my co-host and Warhammer enthusiast, Andrew Dickinger. Oh my god, the thing is still in him. Someone, hold on, just wait right here. Okay. Put this on your head and drill these two pieces in. Oh yeah, sorry about that. And, how are you feeling?
In the spirit, I should say.
Okay, I don't know if it's out of you yet. Either I'm going to do a podcast episode with Andrew, I'm going to do a podcast episode with a demon-possessed Andrew.
Is there really a difference?
I don't know. We've been in this weird library for too long. I'm going to trust that you're fine, and we're all going to be fine.
We're all fine, Jay.
Okay. I'm just going to walk over here and just pick up this bowl of psychically charged ectoplasm. Okay. How are you feeling? Here, let me take that thing off your head.
I feel gooey.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm pretty sure some of the grim, dark Christmas spirit was still lingering around here and it got into you. How are you feeling?
I mean, you'd think that'd be a good thing.
No. Unfortunately, in the grimdark, we have... Well, our listeners might not know this because they're safe on Terra, but we have Krampus here, which is just...
I have heard of Krampus.
Ooh, it's the worst. We've done some research here, especially in the Brown Library. We're not entirely sure what Krampus is or what Krampus belongs to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it a chaos lord or a demon even?
It kind of like changes the whoever you
story,
ask.
right? Like somebody said it was a Tyranid, an old ancient Tyranid that like went crazy because it lost touch with the hive mind. Even the grimdark just can't get the holidays right.
I mean, punishing the naughty, and that is one hell of a naughty list.
Oh my god, guys.
I mean, that's pretty much the whole galaxy.
Yeah. I know we missed the holidays here and we're coming to you guys afterwards, but this place is in ruins. I mean, the defenses they put up for Krampus this season was pretty up there.
Yet inadequate.
So guys, it's after the holidays. We're coming up to the new year, but we actually came from recently a crazy holiday tournament that was just bonkers.
Oh yeah, our local club every year they have their annual holiday tournament where they throw out all the normal, rules restrictions and they're like, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And the missions are gonna be crazy.
I think they even sometimes in past years have pulled from like Rogue Trader-esque missions.
Oh yeah.
Where they're just like, the rules are like, these can't work. Why did they ever work?
Like special roles giving people vortex grenades and stuff, which everybody that knows what that is, lots of fun.
But actually one of the most memorable things from this tournament was the specialty warlord trait list.
Ah, yes.
You could choose to roll on a different warlord trait at the top of each mission, and you couldn't use book warlord traits.
No,
not even your own codexes.
Our tournament organizer was adamant, you must roll on the new list.
Yeah, there was a Christmas warlord trait list.
Hanukkah.
There was a Hanukkah one. There was a Kwanzaa, and then there was a Festivus one.
And there was a Krampus one.
Well, yes.
It was a 1 or 2. Your warlord is just dead.
He just dies or
Instant
explodes.
kill, automatic.
Feels too much holiday cheer, dies.
Automatic warlord for your opponent, automatic kill point for your opponent if that's what the mission was.
But
if you got a 3 through 6, you got to use a D-thirster.
Yes, a bloodthirster with a D weapon replaces your warlord, and it was amazing.
Well, and if people know, the normal D-thirster has the Colossus weapon, which means that it always strikes at initiative 1. Well, this D-thirster, Krampus, struck at initiative.
Yep. So he's an initiative 9, weapon skill 10, D-weapon AP2 Murdersaurus. Now, I took a Krampus in one of my games. I was playing Necrons, which I typically struggle with just because they're so durable. But D-weapons, guys, you struggled Necrons, take some D-weapons.
D-weapons, no reanimation.
No reanimation. They fold pretty hard under D-weapons, especially melee D-weapons.
Yeah, I had him against an Impure Guard player, and he just had nothing that could handle that.
Yeah, not many people can handle a souped-up D-thirster. But guys, it wasn't super amazing the whole time at the tournament. I will say that we have a couple screw-ups here and there, as Andrew and I are known to do.
It wouldn't be Jay and Andrew at Roll to Seize if we didn't fuck up regularly.
Oh, yeah. So let's get into our Seizes of the Month. Andrew, I think I went first last time. What?
I went first.
What? No, are you
You're
sure?
You're going first.
Damn it. Okay. Fine. So for my Season of the Month, and if you guys don't know and you're new to the show, our Season of the Month is where Andrew and I talk about a time in Warhammer in the last month where we completely screwed up. We made a bad play, we made a bad call, and it either cost us the game or cost us a lot of points. So for me, at this wonderful holiday tournament, it was actually my first game. So I have my nice little Eldar that I'm setting up, and my Eldar army for this round were a bunch of Dark Reapers, a bunch of Scat Bikes, and my Cloud Strike, which is my Fire Dragons coming out of a no scatter 3 Falcon. So
his go-to.
Yeah, it's my go-to. And I was fighting Tyrannids. Now, they had 3 Flying Hive Tyrants, because, you know, it's
Codex Tyrant.
It's Codex Tyrant. Key important here, he had 3 Mawlocs.
Important disclaimer, Jay does not play against Tyranids often.
Yeah, rarely at all. And
you just play battle companies pretty much exclusively.
I almost exclusively just play battle companies. I almost exclusively play against Space Marines. It really wasn't until the tournament before last where I actually played Scat Bikes for the first time, and they seem to be everywhere, apparently.
Yeah.
But he goes first. He flies up his Flying Hive Tyrants. My turn. I fire at them. I put a couple wounds on the Warlord. I don't drop it or kill it, but I'm doing a pretty good job. It's going to get close enough, and when my Cloud Strike comes in, it's going to finish those guys off. No problem. I'm feeling really good. The Mawlocs come in on his turn.
But the problem with Molix is that it essentially has 2 caveats. Their ability, which Jay will get into, is very good, but 2 things that can happen to them that will, if they go wrong, essentially their effectiveness just goes out the window. One is if they fail to come in, then it's just like, well, they're pointless 140-point models or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the second is if they scatter. If they scatter, then essentially that's the second half, which now leading in, Jay will explain what they do.
So what they do, Mawlocs, these interesting creatures, he rolled to see if they came in. All 3 came in. Nice. And he was going to center his large blast on where these things come up. Basically, they pop out of the ground and do a lot of damage. Now, what I thought Mawlocs did was that they do a large blast. I knew this. Strength 6, AP 2. I knew that. What I didn't know is that Mawlocs Ignore cover.
Yep.
I did not know this. This is very important to recognize because all of my guys were bunched up. My Scat Bikes, my Dark Reapers, they were all really close to each other, but I had them on Ruins. I think they had Stealth and Ruins too, so I thought they were going to have 3+ cover saves. I thought I was going to be fine. I was so very, very wrong. His Molix not only all came in, he rolled hits for every single one. The other thing about Molix, the first time they hit, if all the guys don't die and they don't have room to come up, they hit a second time.
Yep.
So I'm getting hit twice with direct hits, Strength 6, AP 2. This guy did not fail to wound. He did not fail to roll hits. He killed, in the first turn the Molix came in, all 3 Dark Reaper squads and killed, I think, 2 or 3 Scat Bikes. Not squads, but a couple Scat Bikes. And I had nothing. All these Molix came in and just killed almost everything I had. They killed because they're Strength 6, and my Warlord, my Autarch, is Toughness 3. He hit them first, and I was like, oh, he's got an invul. I'll see how many I can save on him. First roll for my 4+ invul. Dead, doubles him out, kills the entire unit. I lost everything to these Molix.
Yep.
But my second biggest problem, I had ruins all around me. I did not know this. Listeners, pay close attention if you're worried right now about Molix. Molix can only hit ground floor. If you put your units on the second floor of anything, guess what? Molix cannot hit them.
Yep.
I could have saved literally my entire army. His Molix would have been useless if I had put them all on the second floor, and I didn't, so they literally wiped my entire army out. And I gotta end my siege with this moment where, like, these Molix must have been Super Molix or Fonzie Molix. I don't know what you'd call them, but there was one moment where, like, it was the final soul-crushing moment of the game.
I remember
where
this.
I had 1 Scat Bike left. A single, not a unit, a single Scat Bike left. And he had 1 Mawloc left. I had managed when my Cloud Strike came in, killed a couple with Fire Dragons. He comes in with his Mawloc, direct hit, because of course he did. You know, it's only 2 out of 6 chance to direct hit on a scatter die.
I think on your last Fire Dragon squad.
On my last Fire Dragon squad, direct hit, killed all of them, and he rolled for the second hit. Now, my Scat Bike was like 8 inches away from this blast, like really far away in a weird spot. He rolled the exact distance, the exact direction and move the Mawloc and kill my last scat bike. It was the craziest soul-crushing thing I'd ever seen.
I mean, it was pretty much the most extreme luck that you could possibly get.
I was like, I need a Kevin Bacon out here. There's some crazy graboid shit going on with this game.
Where's Burt Gummer?
Oh my god, guys. So Molix, get on the second floor. Don't do what I did. Don't
String
bunch
out your
up.
units.
Oh, that was my season of the month. It was brutal. Andrew, what is your season of the month?
Playing in my second game, I'm playing with, I'm trying a new Tau list, essentially. The new Tau is out. I've had Tau on the back burner for a long time because I got bored with them because there was basically only 2 ways to run them.
Right.
And so now there's this, like, smorgasbord of
now
all
it's
this
the
stuff.
reverse. There is so much stuff that you could run.
Like this list that I ran was essentially an experiment. It was like, let me try this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, which in hindsight was like, it was a good idea, but it was also really hard because there were so many new rules on things that there's no way I could
You're not going to remember all of it, yeah.
The first game, this is a minor seas. This is not my main seas, but this is a minor seas.
Sure.
I planted the anchors of my Storm Surge and then forgot to double fire them for 2 turns.
Which
so that was
is abysmal because
that's a bit of a hiccup. I mean,
it's like getting like an awesome new car and like not driving fast with it. Like that's the coolest part about the Storm Surge.
I was gonna say it would be more like having an awesome new car, but having the old car and just leaving the awesome new car in the garage.
Yeah, guys, how many more metaphors can we relate to cars with Warhammer? Let's start.
But yeah, so that was a bit of a mess up. I also forgot to use the unit can only snapshot at my ghost kills like the whole day.
Also, one of the coolest parts about ghost kills.
Never used
it. So you
it.
forgot all the cool shit about your army.
Maybe just a little bit. Then my C's goes into the second game. The second game, I actually played against the Sisters player, and this is a guy that actively plays competitively in the ETC, which is the European tournament circuit.
Ooh.
And this is a silly tournament. So, the whole point is that with the holiday tournament is, just throw the winning out the window and just have fun.
There was, guys, we had a Krampus character. We could turn warlords into Krampuses. Like, this wasn't a serious competition.
It was serious,
Very
Jay.
serious. There was a Town R supremacy suit there, guys.
Oh, God. We won't get into that.
We won't get into that.
But yeah, so I was playing against a Sisters player, and essentially where my C's comes into play is, it's kind of a shitty thing to say, and I apologize in advance if this offends anyone. But,
already offended.
Good. But giving sympathy to your opponents. Honestly, it can ruin a game for you. It can make you lose games. They'll be like complaining the whole game, be like, oh man, but you're getting all this stuff and I'm just getting it shot to pieces. And it's a strategy that some tournament players use to stall the game so they can win.
He slow played you. Literally.
He literally slow played me and gave me the sympathy vote so he could snatch a win basically out from under me.
You got to be checking those times, guys.
Now, once again, it's definitely 50% my fault for not knowing what time it was, but I was trying to just have more fun.
Right.
And,
it takes 2 to kill each other.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an
exactly.
important rule, golden rule of Grimdark.
And, I thought I had the game in the bag, and, of course, he was, rubbing it in like, oh, you've got this game in the bag.
Dude,
I've already lost. And
Dude, you've got this.
Yeah,
you got this, Andrew.
So normally, like, in a tournament, like, some of you out there might think of this as an underhanded tactic. I personally would see it as, well, if you as a general aren't seeing through the veil, then that's your own fault as well, because some people just use it in Warhammer gets serious. Like,
it does.
People get real serious.
People can get real mad.
But with regards to this, it was a holiday tournament. It was supposed to have fun. I think it was a little out of the spirit of the game.
Yeah, I mean, we were there to have fun, and it's tough if someone's trying to like slow play you in an environment like that when you just want to like play your turn and have a good time.
But yeah, so that's my season of the month. It's just, pay attention to what your opponent is doing because the time is important.
And, keep like, I would recommend either a gauntlet or like a leather glove on hand to slap your opponent if they ever get out of line. I find that it's very encouraging. They thank you afterwards. They're like, oh, yes, of course.
How dare you, sir?
I don't know what I was doing there. All right, guys. Well, those are our seasons of the month, and that'll take us into our main segment, the Brown Library. I'm still not entirely sure Krampus might be like a Tyranid or a demon. I'm looking here right now. We're flipping through some books, guys. And I think Krampus might be like, what if he was a bunch of grots stacked on top of each other with a giant trench coat? Do you think that could be possible?
No.
What about a Jokero? I have some research here that could reference that it might be a Jokero.
I mean, it might be a creation of a Jokero.
Ooh, a creation of a Jokero. Maybe a Star God. Do you think the Necrons could be involved? Those sneaky Terminator bastards.
One of them got away apparently and just went nuts.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, I mean, one of them. History has proven that they can go nuts. Hence, look at the flare.
That's
the flagger
true.
went nuts.
We'll figure out what the Krampus is eventually, and we'll let everyone know. We'll set out like a bulletin through the webway mail or the CSPS, we'll send it through the CSPS. I don't want to get any mail through the CSPS, but I'll send it out.
That wasn't so good.
It was pretty gross. If anyone likes vomit mail, CSPS, we recommend it. So we're here in the Brown Library, and this is typically where each month we go on to Dakadaka and we run a poll, and people vote on what underused unit they want to see us turn into basically an army, and it's usually insane. Actually, this month we got a request from a listener to do a specific army about a specific unit. So Andrew, what is that?
So this goes out to you, Old Man Katachin.
Oh, Old Man Katachin.
This month we're going to be talking about Imperial Guard conscripts.
Whoa, Imperial Guard conscripts. I do not know very much about them, and I am excited to learn about them. Hold on, let me get in my position for learning. All right, here we go. I'm ready.
All right, so as most people know, the Imperial Guard is like the standard foot soldiers of the Imperium.
Yeah.
Not like, superhuman space marines and stuff like that. They're just like the dudes that they recruit and
They're just the dudes. They're just the guy from The Big Lebowski.
They're just the dudes.
Just imagine an army of those guys.
I mean, that's like your opinion, man.
It's just your opinion, man.
But conscripts are essentially like emergency reserves. They're like untrained people. Essentially, it's as it sounds. It's conscripted people from like the populace that they just like take in times of need. And
shit, that hive mind's eating like so many people. You guys, get in the ship. What? No, take these guns.
Yeah, they usually get like the shittiest equipment.
Nice.
And I mean, their stats are not good.
Really? That's surprising.
They're like 2 weapon skill, 2 ballistic skill.
That's about as bad as you can get.
And I think
is there anybody with a 1? With like 1, like across the board ones?
No. Wait. Maybe a spore mine.
Okay.
I think is 111.
Like a plant. Don't count out plants in the Grimdark, guys.
Oh no.
Definitely don't count out literally anything. What is that, dust? Get your guns ready.
But conscripts, they're actually kind of silly. So there's not like much to them fluff-wise other than
they're poor souls thrown into a battle barge.
My favorite version of them, though, is the version that they're penal legions, that they're essentially convicts that have
that's pretty cool.
Row, and they just throw them in as cannon fodder, as like, you may be condemned to death, but the Emperor still has need of you. Now go die, because that's all you're good for.
And they're like, I guess so. Here we go.
But the unit itself, this is silly. When I first read this, I was like, I don't think this exists anywhere else in 40K.
Oh boy.
But they can be a unit of 20 to 50 models.
What? In one unit?
The only thing that comes close to, or that exceeds
50?
that, 50. The only thing that exceeds that is the Orc Green Tide, where it's like 5 Orc Boy units put together. But 50 guys.
What?
In one unit.
That's insane.
There's so many.
Can you imagine like breaking that unit and sweeping like 45 models?
It's a lot.
That's just insane.
Now, granted, 50 of them only actually costs 150 points.
What?
So
50 of them cost 150 points.
Yeah, I mean they're
3 points a model.
Yeah,
that's so ridiculous. I thought Kroot and Grotz were cheap, but that's insane.
No, 3 points.
Wow. They're like a scorpion chainsword. I could upgrade my Autark with a scorpion chainsword, or I could just recruit a bunch of convicts.
So, of course, we had to theme it around this. So, Penal Legion, and you'll love this. What's the most famous Penal Legion in all of 40K?
Oh, I don't know. Listeners, do you know? If you do, psychically communicate to us in the past, and we will say it now.
Colonel Schaefer's Last Chancers.
Whoa, what?
Yep.
What?
They are the most famous 13th Penal Legion.
They are conscripts?
Colonel Schaefer specifically goes to all of the shittiest of the shittiest prisons in the Imperium,
recruits the best of the best.
And personally recruits the convicts that he sees as being possibly redeemable. As he says, like, you are the ultimate scum of the Imperium, but the God Emperor still has use of you.
Basically full metal jacketing, like, drill sergeant-y, pulling them into the ranks.
Yeah. I mean, like, Colonel Schaefer has a reputation.
Wow.
I mean, he is not afraid to sacrifice lives.
Now, for anybody who's confused when we're referencing Colonel Schaefer's Last Chancers, some of you have had your heads explode at this point because you know they are the best. But like back in the day, I think like maybe it was 6 years ago, Colonel Schaefer's Last Chancers...
it was longer than that.
It was probably longer than that. Was a unit you could take in Imperial Guard that was quite literally a unit made up of individual models.
Yeah.
Each of them was like almost their own character. Think of like the Expendables, but in the Grimdark, which is just awesome.
Well, it was actually, believe it or not, the idea for Colonel Schaefer's Last Chancers was modeled after the Dirty Dozen.
Oh,
So
yeah.
That's where the idea comes from.
I mean, you've got like
Makes
a
total
sniper, you've got a tracker, you've got a demolitions guy. I mean, like it's an action movie in a box in a unit.
So I'll go through essentially what all of them were and then how I fit them into this list, because you best believe I found a role for everyone. They're all in here.
Colonel Schaefer's Last Chances are back.
This is the 13th Penal Legion Army, Colonel Schaefer's Last Chancers.
Amazing.
So, Colonel Schaefer, essentially, he's just exactly what he sounds like. He's a colonel that has the most, like, ultimate ragtag badass team.
We believe that he constantly has a cigar in his mouth at all times. Like I'm sure it's like actually part of him almost.
It's like an ancient, like, old one relic. It's an ever-burning cigar.
It's an ever-burning relic. It would be in like the back of the book, like can only be taken by Colonel Schaefer.
Like, it's permanently stuck to the side of his mouth.
It might be the ghost of a cigar that he smoked so many. A ghost of a cigar permanently rests in his mouth.
I almost feel like an old one just had way too much time on its hands.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna make cigars that never go out.
Yeah, it's like, why do I gotta keep buying these? You know what? Eternal cigars.
The guys that he recruits, he gives them a deal. Essentially, all of the people that he recruits are marked for death row.
Right.
They'll either die very shortly by firing squad or by...
Which, arguably, the best way to die in the Grimdark.
That's a good way.
Pretty good way to go.
And a lot of them do refuse, and then...
They're like, no, man, I'm getting the best way out possible.
Yeah, I mean, because when you're getting thrown against, like, Tyranids and shit like that, yeah, give me the firing squad.
I'm going to get a really nice, pleasant bullet tomorrow, so I'm going to just stay right where I am.
And it's not even bullets, it's lasers, so it's like...
so it's even
kills
nicer.
even faster and cleaner.
I mean, geez.
You either accept his offer, and if you survive 3 suicide missions, you get a pardon, an Imperial pardon. He has so much clout, and this is just a colonel. This isn't even like a Lord Commander or anything.
Wow.
That he can actually pass out Imperial pardons. And I mean, that comes with a caveat as well, which is if you do survive and you get your pardon, you can never commit a crime again.
Wow.
If you do, you are permanently in the Legion.
Jeez.
Like, you have no escape. You are in it till you die. Oh, and don't forget, he also, every time one of them dies, posthumously gives them their pardon. I mean,
that's good. I mean, he's a real classy guy.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
In addition to Schaefer, you have Ox, who's essentially just like...
I wonder what Ox is like. What occupation role could he fill on a team?
Definitely not a heavy weapon brawler type.
No, definitely not. Probably the chef? Probably
yes.
Sniper? Probably your number one sniper is a guy named Ox.
But Ox is essentially, he's not the brightest thing.
Surprising. Not entirely sure he's human.
They don't know if he's abhuman or not.
Okay.
But he's dumb and he's big, and he killed 3 officers in a bar fight with his bare hands.
Wow.
Which is what his crime is.
Hey.
But he's notoriously best friends with Brains, who's another member of the team.
Now Brains.
Obviously,
gun specialist. Heavy weapon specialist. Demolition, maybe?
Demolitions, yes.
Okay, cool.
Brains got his crime, some of these crimes that they're on the Last Chances for, which, remember, these are people that put up for the firing squad.
Yeah.
All that Brains did was hack into the network, the Imperial network, and make them pay him more.
What a monster.
That's all he did.
Out of everything you could do in the Grimdark universe, he white-collar crimed them?
Yes.
And they were like, no, you've got to die.
That's the firing squad for you.
Wow.
But he and Ox are best friends, and Ox notoriously goes berserk if Brains dies or gets incapacitated.
I think, wasn't that like a special rule
that
he
was
used
a
to
rule
have?
that he went berserk.
That was, man, they were the best.
But then, in addition to those two, you also have characters like Animal, who's arguably the best fighter in all of the Imperial Guard.
Whoa, really?
But he's like a maniac. He's like a schizophrenic, multiple murderer that, I mean, just as per his name, Animal, they just throw him into the fray.
Oh, this is Jason Voorhees. He's going to be doing combat training with us for today.
Yeah. Oh, man. So that's what he's like. He's like that. Like, think slasher movies.
He's just a monster.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah, he is called Animal.
And then you have Hero.
He was put in jail for being too damn heroic.
Well, yeah. I mean, you think about why he's in jail is because he refused an order. He was like an up-and-coming top of his class officer, and his superior essentially gave an order to him and his unit to go on a pointless suicide mission, essentially, and he refused.
I like how now it's like, pointless suicide sounds pretty good.
Well, yeah, well, it's
like,
that
it's
or
compared
the
to
firing
death.
squad.
Yeah.
So, like, and he just wants to serve. Obviously, he was a commissioned officer and everything, so
He's
was in
loyal, but he's loyal for the right reasons.
Exactly.
He's not just gonna like just go kill people or do random stuff if it doesn't have a purpose.
And if this lets him serve, then I mean that's what he wants. He was in it for the long haul. So
That's cool.
You have another one that's Grease Monkey. Now Grease Monkey probably has the best crime. He's like their tank specialist, their driver if they have a vehicle.
Right.
He says that he can drive anything in the Imperium.
Really?
Like any vehicle, doesn't matter what it is, he can keep it running and drive it. But what his crime was hilarious.
Okay.
He stole the Graf vehicle from a Neandan ambassador.
What? He hijacked an Eldar vehicle?
Yeah, and in Neandan, one of the Eldar craft
Which must have been
worlds-
hilarious because Yandon, if people don't know, is a ghost craft world.
have the-
Not all of them are ghosts.
They have the most Wraith units of any craft world.
So it must be like, because those guys have got to be like really cold and uptight because they just hang out with basically undead robots all day. So they must have been like, someone stole my ghost ship. Who stole my ghost ship? Like
But yeah.
freaking out.
That's probably Grand Theft Auto in 40K. It's probably the best crime out of all of
That's
them.
amazing.
Keeping it going, we have Warrior Woman. Who
Okay.
essentially, she was part of a cult. It's something like the Cult of Artemis or something like that.
Okay.
Which is a banned cult. They're very Amazonian-ish.
Right. I was thinking, when you said it, I was thinking like Wonder Woman-esque.
Yeah.
Because you said Warrior Woman, it's basically Warrior Woman, Wonder Woman.
She's just like an elite combat specialist.
Yeah.
Her crime was being a part of this cult that was banned, essentially. But then as well, you have a guy named Shiv. Now, Shiv was the hardest one.
What would you say is Shiv's favorite weapon, if you had to pick one?
It's definitely a gun.
Yeah, I was thinking gun too.
Shiv he's the oddest one of them. Now, he's essentially a serial killer.
But not like serial killer-esque as Animal, because I guess Animal's more...
He's a mass murderer.
So Shiv is more like a methodical killer.
He's a serial killer.
Yeah.
He's like a Dexter. He's smart and super silent and basically murdered like 30 people on an Imperial world without people knowing who it was.
That's terrifying.
So he's like their scout specialist. So then you have another two that are a pair, Fingers and Rocket Girl.
Ooh, that's a great pair.
Fingers is like Schaefer's least favorite person.
Is it because their name's Fingers? Because that's a pretty goofy name.
He's called Fingers because he's essentially a petty thief.
Oh, okay.
He steals.
Oh, he's like a Fagin. He's going in there and pickpocketing people.
He's a black market specialist, so
Oh,
like,
alright.
but he's the guy that has all the munitions that he loads into Rocket Girl's weapons. Rocket Girl is a heavy weapon specialist, so she can use any heavy weapon, and her crime is kind of weird. Like, she's essentially killed another, because she's a master sergeant. She killed
Okay.
another master sergeant, and they don't exactly know why. It's like been redacted, but there's
Like-
obviously some kind of conflict there.
Interesting.
And then you have, of course, Demolition Man, which I bet you can't guess what he does.
Something to do with computers. Gotta be computers.
I was thinking of more like, in the future, Taco Bell, 3 seashells type of thing.
No. That's just terrifying. That's far worse than what any of these people have done. Oh, no.
But yeah.
He got into some catering, and those officers had a terrible evening.
Anybody knows those movie references?
Oh, boy.
Fun time. But yeah, he's essentially, as his name implies, he's a munition specialist.
Right.
And apparently can pick any lock and get into any security system.
A little added benefit there. So I was half right with computers.
Yes.
Even though in the Imperium, most of their systems are like magic, I don't really know. Their technology is weird.
They have like computer systems.
They do, but I feel like half of it's like magic and half of it's not.
I think it's more like their machines just can have like ghosts in them.
Sure. Hey, is this one of the ones with the buttons and the technology, or is this the one where I have to pray to it? I don't really know.
I think you have to pray to all of them, Jay.
Oh, okay. I got it.
And then the last of the bunch.
The IT department in the Imperium is going to
Oh,
be
God.
real weird.
And then the last of the group, of course, is Scope, who is their sniper. He was in the Imperial Guard for a long time. He was a sharpshooter. And a lot of his, not only his service record, but his crime is redacted because he went AWOL and may or may not have been a part of the assassination of a local lord. So that is the Last Chancers.
Wow.
Coolest group of motherfuckers in the galaxy.
They are the best.
So, of course, through this fan's request, we had to use the Penal Legion, which was conscripts, because they have to be prisoners,
They got to be. Of
Condemned
course.
criminals, of course.
Of course.
And then if you're using condemned criminals, you got to use Schaefer's Last Chancers.
You got it. Now, are Schaefer's Last Chancers, are they still a thing? Are they still in the codexes?
See, here's the weird thing. They're not in the book anymore.
Okay.
You can still buy them on Games Workshop.
Really?
But I can't seem to find rules for them.
That's very strange.
So I think it's more like a nostalgia factor. If you want them, you can buy them.
Very weird that they still sell them.
Yeah, it's odd. But okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty. What's in this army? So I'm not the most familiar with Imperial Guard.
What? Surprise.
I've done lists with like Rough Riders and stuff like
Look,
that.
Rough Riders proves that you know a lot about Imperial Guard, okay? They are the best.
I mean, that's all I needed to know about them.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. Guys, if you're still listening to this, I'm sorry, we're not going to talk about Rough Riders.
So I basically, like, the list I had to come up with was how devastating can we make this 50 conscript unit? Because unfortunately, you can't just take conscripts.
I like that was a thought. You're like, how devastating can I make a 50-man conscript unit?
Now they can get pretty crazy.
Really?
And I'll get into why. First of all, there's 50 of them. Second of all,
basically a moving tidal wave.
yeah, I mean, and like, there's so many ablative bodies that, like, if you have any characters in there, they just never die.
But what if can they break? Like, can they fail a leadership check and just break?
Yeah, but what if you put a character in there that gives them zealot or gives them stubborn? And
to be
stuff like
fair, to
that?
make them take a morale check, 25% of 50 people, that's a lot of bodies you got to take off the board.
It's a lot. And if you're getting cover saves and stuff, like, good luck.
I mean, more than 12 bodies you have to kill. More than a unit.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah, and it's like I said, it's a little weird how their troops work. You either have veterans, which are essentially your, like, standard, like, any other army troop unit.
Right.
It's just that. You can take an infantry platoon. Now, what this is, it's like one mandatory unit, then two other mandatory units, and then, like, a bunch of optional units.
Okay.
That you can take, which is kind of strange. I've never seen that in an army before. So the core of this army is that you have to take an infantry platoon if you want to get conscripts.
Okay.
So you have to take a platoon command squad. This is where Warrior Woman goes. She's in charge of the platoon command squad.
Awesome. Getting them into shape.
Of course.
Yep.
Because that's what she does. And they have, like, essentially a bunch of melta-guns and stuff. It's just a 5-man unit.
All right.
And then you have two basic infantry squads. They're just, like, filler, like, slightly better last chancers, essentially. They're in their proving stage. And then, of course, you top it all off, 50 conscripts in one unit, because of course.
Of course. Roll to seize. That's how we roll, guys.
But then the HQs, now I was like, how can I make this work? I got to get all of these people in here.
Yeah.
So I took a company command squad, which is the same, it's a similar sort of thing as to the infantry platoon, where it has, like, a lot of optional stuff.
Of what you can stick in there?
The weird thing is that you can't ever have independent characters in that. It's always a unit.
Okay.
So you can't join them to things, which is tough when you want them to live.
Right. So you just stick them all in one big blob?
Well, it's not even a blob. It's like a medium-sized infantry unit.
Okay.
Not even medium. It's pretty small, actually, but, like, it has, like, a lot of upgrade units you can do to it, and their options are just, like, all over the place. Like, they can take a ton of different crap.
Okay.
And they also open up optional HQs that essentially don't take up a force organization chart.
Oh, interesting.
So
secret HQs.
The company command squad had to have probably one of the coolest motherfuckers in the Imperial Guard army that I've never seen somebody use. This guy called Colonel Iron Hand Straken.
Well, cool name right away.
Which, of course, is Colonel Schaefer.
Of course.
That is Colonel Schaefer.
Of course it is.
Now, his rules, the reason he's called Iron Hand is because one of his arms is literally just a metal arm.
Nice.
And ironically enough, he has Smash.
With that metal arm?
And he's strength 6.
That's awesome.
So, like, he's a boss.
He is.
Like, and he's, like, T4. Like, he's really, like, nasty.
He's probably mostly machine.
He's got a lot of machine on him.
Yeah.
He's definitely a cyborg.
He's been hanging out with that IT department too much.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you hang out with the IT department, you're bound to lose a leg or something.
You know what? We think you could probably replace that leg.
But yeah, so that's Colonel Schaefer. Now, his ability is really cool. He essentially gives all friendly units within 6 inches counterattack and furious charge.
That's pretty cool.
So then you stick them near the conscripts, and suddenly the 50-man unit has counterattack and furious charge.
That is strong.
That's kind of nuts. And then, of course, to have Ox in the unit, because you have to have Ox, we're going to upgrade this company command squad to include Nork Deddog, who's the most famous Ogren. And you know how we feel about Ogrens.
Love them Ogrens.
Love them. And he's the most famous one. He's like the best bodyguard in all of the Imperium.
That's
so I was
pretty
like,
cool.
that's Ox.
Yeah.
Ox is Nork Deddog.
For sure.
Because he also adds survivability to the unit and some more melee, because this is going to be a weird melee-oriented Imperial Guard list.
You know how everyone runs Imperial Guard.
I mean, of course.
Melee all day, every day.
It's the only way to run them.
Yeah.
So that's that. And then you have some standard vets that add like filler.
Okay.
But they do, the one thing that vets have access to that's actually really useful is they have access to a medi-pack, which gives the whole unit Feel No Pain.
Oh, okay.
Very nice. And then the last part of the unit is the Officer of the Fleet, which essentially can allow them to either reroll their reserves or get better reserve rolls or delay your opponent's reserve rolls.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's Brains.
Yeah,
Because of course Ox and Brains have to be in the same unit.
Yeah.
And then I had to stick him in just because he's my favorite. Commissar Yorick.
Dude.
He's in there.
You never need a reason to include Commissar Yorick.
The old man. he's
Commissar
gotta be in there.
Yorick, put him in your Necron armies. I don't care. Put him somewhere. He's the best.
so
he's
he's-
got a lobster hand. We've talked about it at length. It's great.
Yeah, so he'll attach to himself to the company command squad. Not only does that give him Feel No Pain, but he's like crazy tank for wounds.
Yeah, and we've talked about it is almost impossible to kill that man.
Oh man, he can just keep getting up. It's just like crazy,
He's the
crazy,
shit.
crazy. So
The shit.
that unit is actually pretty nasty in close combat.
I believe it.
The combination of Nork, aka Ox, Colonel Schaefer, Straken, and Commissar Yorick, like that can be really nasty.
That can hurt.
And they give great buffs to everybody. Now that I've taken this company command squad, it unlocks the extra HQs, and there's some
secret HQs.
there's actually some really cool ones in there. I unlocked a Ministorm Priest, who's essentially just like a crazy maniac priest that like inspires everybody by yelling.
I can't imagine who that would possibly be.
It's totally not Animal. Or
No, probably
anything.
not. Probably not.
So that's Animal, and he of course attaches to the conscript squad. These guys are all going to be attached to the conscript squad.
That's amazing.
Because another thing, he gives them zealot. Holy shit!
That's really good.
Suddenly they're re-rolling all attacks on the first round of combat, and these guys all have 2 attacks. Sorry, 3 on the charge, because they have 1 attack, they have a blast pistol and close combat weapon, and then they charge, they get 3 attacks.
God.
At strength 4.
Just a running wall of 50 people.
Yeah, so then he's attached to them, and then you have a regular commissar with a power weapon, that's Hero.
Of course.
Because then Hero, he's attached to the conscript squad to just give them that, universal stubborn.
Yeah.
And because, once again, stubborn, you can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
They're just there.
Brutal.
And then the last one that attaches to them is an engine seer, which is, of course,
Grease Monkey. Casey Affleck.
Now, he's kind of useful. He's useful a number of reasons. Some people may say it's odd to be attaching him to the conscript squad, but he has a servo arm, which is a power fist, basically.
Yeah.
So, he can do work in close combat.
Oh, for sure.
But also, there are a few vehicles in the army, and, if they're making pace, that he can be repairing them and stuff. So,
Oh, of course.
that's pretty cool.
That is pretty neat.
So that's the HQs. The second troop is crazy. It's got a lot of stuff in it.
Okay.
It's a 10-man veteran squad. They have 3 melta-guns. They have a Sarge with a power weapon. That's Shiv.
Yeah, of course.
They have a veteran weapons team, which is a missile launcher, which is Fingers and Rocket Girl. And then they have the demolitions upgrade, which gives them essentially all melta-bombs and stuff. And then it also gives one guy a demolition charge, which of course is Demolition Man.
Of course.
The last of the regular last chancers, you have 1 unit of Ratlings, because it's the only place you could fit him in. Ratling snipers, and there's Scope.
Scope is one of the Rattling
He's one of the Ratling snipers. Now, Rattling snipers had something interesting that I've never seen an Imperial Guard player use.
Really?
They can fire and then run
I didn't know that.
with sniper rifles.
That's very interesting.
Which
It's
is
almost like a
actually-
weird battle focus.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Then the rest of the army, because it's got to be ragtag and also very suicidal.
Yeah, obviously.
So you have 1 Valkyrie and 1 Vendetta in there.
Okay.
The Vendetta takes the platoon command squad, which is where Warrior Woman is, to
Okay.
drop in some melta-guns.
Nice.
And then the Valkyrie takes the veteran squad with all the other ramshackle group of guys.
Okay.
And this is where the, Brains, as an officer of the fleet, he can make them come in more easily.
Yeah,
because
because he adds for reserve rolls. Yeah.
And then this is the silliest thing that I've seen. I don't know why people don't use it. Probably because it's really inconsistent.
Okay.
But it just sounds so fun.
What is it?
There's a thing called a Death Strike missile launcher in Imperial Guard.
Well, it sounds super cool.
Now, if you're an Imperial Guard player, sorry, Astra Militarum player.
Yeah.
and
Let's clarify.
and you know what this is, you're probably like, yeah, there's a reason people don't use them.
What is that reason, Andrew?
Oh my God. So these things, they can't be fired on the first turn.
Okay.
It's a one-time use weapon, and What it is you have to roll a die when you want to fire it.
Oh boy.
Depending on how many turns have gone by, you add 1 for each turn past turn 1.
Okay.
As long as you get a 4+,
Okay.
the weapon can be fired. As well, you can't weapon destroy a Death Strike missile launcher.
Interesting.
What weapon destroy results do is just add a -1 modifier to your roll.
So it just makes it harder to get
it
it off?
just makes it harder to fire.
That's pretty funny.
But when this thing is fired, it's basically infinite range.
Nice.
And it's a Strength 10, AP 1, Apocalyptic Blast with Ignore cover.
That's amazing.
With Ignore cover.
That's disgustingly fun.
It's just like, kabam!
It's like basically they're like, all right, come on, is it gonna go this time? Like somebody's like pushing buttons trying to get it to kickstart.
Well, and I realize what they are. They're nukes. It's nukes.
That is a nuke.
And of course, we have to have 3 of them.
Of course we do. Why would we only have 1? That doesn't make sense.
So there are
Not to us.
3 of those just sitting in the back as like all of these guys go charging up. If it scatters onto your guys, I mean, they're all gonna die anyway.
Yeah, who cares? Suicidal mission. Colonel, why would you consider this a suicidal mission? Oh, you see those 3 things? Yeah, I see those. Yeah, those are nuclear weapons. We're going to be running towards where they're going. What? All right, here we go, boys. That's insane.
Tell me that isn't fun.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That's so fun.
It's like, we're getting really close to the enemy. Are you going to fire those soon? Yeah. Just keep running.
Honestly, when I read that it had Ignore cover as well, I was like just the threat of those things would be
It's
like,
stupid
I
fun.
have to kill that very quickly.
That's amazing.
Ugh.
Just 3 nukes.
So that is the army. Schaefer's last chancers.
That is amazing.
It's a thing.
Guys, make this army happen and nuke your own people. It's really morale boosting.
I want to use those so badly. They sound so fun.
I can't believe we were able to bring them back. Last chancers. And guys, if you still want to learn more, please look them up. They're amazing. They're
the story behind them is fantastic.
and like we said, they're expendables for the Grimdark. It's so much fun.
I mean, it's back in the day when they were far more fluff focused in the game.
Yeah,
than
they were just having a great time with Last
Grand old
Chancers.
time.
Oh, God. All right, guys. Well, that was episode 18 of Roll to Seize. We'll be posting a new episode every month. And if you'd like to download more episodes or check out other similar podcasts, head over to partialarc.com. That's ARC with a C. You can email us any questions at rolltoseize@gmail.com or chat with us on dakadaka.com and help decide the next Brown Library segment. Search for fluffy/underrated units in the 40K general discussion forums. Of course, you can always follow us on Twitter and Instagram for tournament and model picks at partialarc. Thanks for listening. Happy New Year. And your fun fact for the month is...
There's always acceptable losses in Imperial Guard.
There is probably built into everything they do is acceptable
There's no
losses.
such thing as unacceptable losses.
They're like, how many scientists do we need in this room to develop this weapon? Oh, we need at least 15 or 16, because half of you are dead.